All right, as I said, new dev diary. So, we are now on August 9th for the dev diary of Division Commanders and Unit Medals. So, greetings all. We will be back. We're welcome back today. We're doing a whole interconnected systems being added to the game. One of the major the roadmaps I feel like I strongly about the immersive elements of HOI4. We'll be showing off the Nintendo Small Bullet. Good. Follow ice. Oh my god, you can actually name your operations. Those of you with key memories will recently recall a teaser where I posted, some of you guessed correctly, that in BBA Battle for the Bossers, we introduced a dynamic system for naming battle plans. For many major nations, battle plan names can be provided through a list of locations resulting in a historical set of operations. Okay. Of course, the war doesn't always proceed historically. Battle plans can also be generated from several counterpoints, blah, 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 can be represented as a union. Naturally, in the spirit of role playing, the operation names can be modified in game, and you can replace text with whatever operation you desire, and any sub order is delivered. Okay, good. Operation Fabulous. So now you can opt. What is it? Name your operation orders. By the way, you could do that in HOI3, but besides the point, we're just adding features back. If unset, naval landings and paratrops will have a unique pattern to remain unique. Okay, this system, however, goes further to the naming convention and ties other systems made in by blood. Oh, sorry, by blood alone. By blood alone. Battle for the Bosphorus. I keep, can't fucking separate those two. Yeah. Anyway, so in by blood alone, division commanders. They're actually adding back division commanders. Now, if you have played HOI3, let's just say they had division commanders. Actually, they had brigade commanders, if I remember correctly. I think the brigade commanders. Then they had Be My Little General. So they had all the fucking way up to Army High Command in terms of generals. But now we get little officers for all of our divisions, which I'm happy about. We're sitting in BBA, Bible we're replacing the standard method of recruiting generals out of thin air. Instead, every division will be created with a commanding officer or when they are trained. These are predominantly generated for country-specific name lists. However, in some cases, we have set these individuals for starting divisions. When a new unit is created, they will be provided by a randomly generated character name and portrait to accommodate the increased use of generic portraits for these. We'll be adding a large quantity of additional generic portraits for the owners of BBA. The work involved in creating these is not insignificant, so for now, we're limiting ourselves to adding portraits to only major countries. That just means you're fucking lazy. So I don't know if you know those people, but I am a portrait designer and a mod person for fucking Total War mod. I make a sub mod that's an anime mod. And let me tell you, they're just fucking lazy if they don't have the ability to pump these out. Because let me tell you, they're not that fucking hard to do. Now, hand drawing them, sure, maybe. Which is what they do, kind of. Except they just kind of look at old photographs and copy it. Long fucking story short, they're just being lazy. Okay. You are able to get an overview of all division commanders in your army with your officer core screen. Great. So now we can have hundreds of fucking officers. In an effort to avoid unnecessary micromanagement, made a few important decisions. Division commanders themselves will not confer any bonuses upon the division they command. However, the division they command will now earn and log a record of important actions they may perform during the natural course of a campaign. So now you have battle honors for your division. I like this. Again, all of this is completely irrelevant to fucking MP. Let's just get that out of the way, because if you're making two with fucking spam units and you're gonna have officers, again, completely irrelevant there. But for us that don't fucking want aneurysms when we play the game, it's nice. Important actions such as taking capital, securing a high victory point value, and more constitute actions for which a unit can be awarded a medal is expected. That over the course of a campaign, many units will qualify for receiving medals, often several. The system is not driven by scarcity, as we do not intend players to micromanage individual actions rather than micromanaging macro level to award unit stuff. Okay. I'm wondering if they're doing it like that. Like the supply consumption there is the best, but all the other ones are dog shit. The supply consumption is the best. But if we're doing it like this, I'm worried that because they're trying to be like you don't need to micromanage, but if units are taking capitals, that is micromanagement. and high value points as micromanagement for your fucking divisions to make sure specific divisions get there so they can get a specific trait. That is what's going to be all the fucking Raven MP. If they're doing it like this, if they're just doing it based on combat experience, I'm on board with that because then you can actually use this fucking system with political power and actually do it like that. And you won't have fucking people micro the fuck out of this. But I don't know. We will see when we get there. As mentioned above, division commanders are not explicitly conferring bonuses. However, the medals awarded for their actions will. Medals are intended to act as a PP sync for the mid to late game. Fair enough. You don't do anything with political power there anyway. Now, they find a lot of players and have a significant amount of political resources, advisors, and focus begin to dwindle. They do. Units can receive multiple medals. However, the cost for each will increase as more are granted to any given unit, and the effects of stacking specific medals will decrease per instance of the same effect. Okay. As you will note above, medals can be specific to country if you decided to add a series of generic medals based on the alignment, as well as unique medals for each major country. A medal, blah, 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 and extend to unit. The only medal is 16. Units take one medal and only going to extend to them, not the whole fucking army corps. A medal's name and description will, in most cases, be dynamic depending on what actions it was awarded for. In extreme valor, while a specific named operation can also result in receiving a medal for that action. Took part in the siege of Lutz. Okay, cool. Iron Cross, second class. Knight's Cross, Oakley, Knight Cross with Swords and Diamonds. You know, technically, these should, if they wanted to be accurate, this should be like 5, 10, 15, and 20, because this is the highest of that award for the Iron Cross, but okay, cool. To further streamline the process of awarding medals, you can perform a quick action to do this through the officer entry in the corps. Okay, so you can actually do it through your officer corps. That's nice, at least. As mentioned previously, we're removing the old method of recruiting generals by the means of reaching into the void and picking out a fully qualified officer. This means that your army generals will now be directly linked to your field divisional officers and their capabilities directly linked to their actions in the field. Good. Divisional officers will store experience based on the experience gained of the unit they are commanding, as well as receiving a lump sum when a medal is awarded. While active, a divisional officer, this experience will have no meaningful effect. However, when in need of a new army general, you can promote a division commander out of the division role and directly into the army general role. Any medals awarded to the division will be retained by the division. This is important. However, the newly created general will keep a reference to those medals as a means to remembering their accomplishments in the line of duty, albeit with no direct effect on the new army, although we elected to support this behavior for modders should they wish. I very much think modders will add that in. I don't quite agree that the medals should mean nothing to a brand new general, because that's kind of fucking stupid. That if you have this division, I guess if you could stack modifiers on it, it would break the fucking MP of the game. But the MP's already fucking broken, so it really doesn't matter. And if you want RP elements, you can't be making fucking esports of the game then. But HOI4 just does whatever the fuck they want. So I don't quite agree that they get nothing. They should get something out of this. But up to modders now, which will probably be a thing. And also, you actually get to see your generals, which is nice for your divisions. I'm assuming your division officer gets replaced when you promote them. Yeah. When a division officer is promoted this way, the experience they have earned during the course of their field command will be applied to their experience level as a general up to a maximum cap. Okay, so they will not start at 1, they can start at 5. That's nice, at least. Promoting somebody with field experience can prove a lot more valuable than hiring another pen pusher after all. If they have earned at least a certain quality as yet undecided of field experience, they will also begin with personality traits corresponding to the type of division they were commanding, armor, infantry, etc. Okay. I don't know if I like that, but fuck it, we'll go with it. What they're going to do there is they're going to add the modifier for, like, you get 100% more XP when commanding armored divisions because he was an armored division commander. That's what that's going to be more than likely. Unit cohesion. You'll also note that my roadmap includes a wish to improve the battle planner. Oh my god, really? While this is likely to be slow in iterative process, BBA heralds the inclusion of new frontline parameters intended for advanced users. Really? No shit. Cohesion parameter can be set on a root frontline order and will affect how the units of the unit controller places divisions across the front line. The default setting is flexible cohesion. Functions as you grow to expect. All units will be evaluated for placement, suitability, and perceived gap in the front line. Balance. Balance cohesion successfully evaluates the unit that has a defined distance from the target, and distances moddable. Distances are moddable. Okay, great. That's gonna fucking be fun. In practice, the result is less units shuffling along the front line, but should still ensure the front line responds to the change in size and space. Divisions will only relocate from medium distances in order to maintain a battle line. So basically, what this is, well, maybe this might stop. So whenever you are engaging in a big front line and you like fucking go around a city, that whole front line fucks, and then the whole line just gets messed up. And eventually, if you're in an MP game, you just need to fucking delete the whole order and then reassign it and redraw the whole line again. Okay, and when you do that, every fucking division goes wherever the fuck they want, which breaks. Okay, um, maybe this fixes it, maybe it doesn't. I don't think that's addressing that specific problem. What I think it is addressing is that when the units when the units are pushing through a line, the AI is no longer going to send units out to the left side as far. It's just going to keep them semi-centered around wherever the fuck they were. However, you can also on this front line, if you wanted to avoid that completely, you just don't assign it as a whole front line. You assign it to specific cores in each sector. So you just do this by instead of like whenever you just draw the front line with a theater commander, it will fucking auto assign all of your cores. You do that instead of pressing shift and then doing that because that'll just assign the whole fucking theater there. Now that might be better, but we'll see how this fucking thing fares out. The final setting is rigid. It is intended primarily for long defense lines and only successfully evaluate unit positions that are a very short distance from their target location. In practice, the results in relocating only neighboring provinces can result in gaps created in the front line if left unattended, which it will not be. If it is expected that the setting will be used by players who primarily rely on micromanaging the front lines, which is saying MP players. Because there's 4 or 6 Soviet players, you don't need to fucking worry about the fucking left unattended part. Because if there's 6 Soviet players, the AI will make use of flexible and balanced cohesion settings depending on the ratio of divisions and front lines, but will avoid the use of rigid concision, so it can't use rigid at all. Okay, cool. AI is too stupid to do that. It is worth noting that units are not placed directly on the front line, having been left behind or recently added to an order instance will not subject to the same cohesion restrictions and will make it the strategic location to find themselves in a new place, blah, blah, blah. Addition, the cohesion setting will be regarding whether or not the order will be executed. Regardless of the order being executed. Okay, so basically the cohesion takes place of the order, and what this is saying is that divisions that are assigned to a line are just going to find their fucking way there. They're not going to bother with this. Modding. For those of you interested in modding, the addition of subsystems also comes in new tools regarding units. It is now possible to iterate over unit arrays in states and countries by condition and apply a series of effects, including awarding medals, histories, and other basic parameters, such as affecting org strength, buff, or performance reasons. Units do not currently support storing or being stored as variables, though we will monitor the need and performance for doing so in the future. I see you, Iwa. I think that's European at War. I don't fucking know. One of the mods. Okay, so predefined divisions can be set up with a list of historical commanders that are drawn from the current commander if replaced. Should you opt for the extreme historical fidelity, which this means Black Ice, is what this means, because then Black Ice can add the actual divisional officers that were in command of the actual divisions in 1936, which is what they will probably do. The visual and display ranks of division commanders can correspond to their gained experience and are fully customizable, though they confer no gameplay effect. Okay. Medals themselves can be added to the medal array based on arbitrary conditions instead of a variety of modifiers, which are represented in the game. The name and combination of these split factors, we carry harness and blah, 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 blah. As for now, we will look at the conferences, how peace conferences are progressing. Okay. Anyway, so I like this change in theory, and it looks good. Okay? I'm just concerned about the fucking microing of getting medals. for divisions that have to accomplish specific objectives. That is my only concern here. The rest of this, I actually like. I'm it's pretty good. I'll give them fucking props to this. I just don't agree that the general should confer no benefit from medals, but hey, we'll see what they do after that, okay? So that's the end of this dev diary. Go ahead and leave a like. Tell me what you like in the comments, I guess, and I'll see you for the next one.